Alright, so continuing on from our last tutorial, what we're going to do in this one is we are going to finish this script, but before we do that we need to fix up the word wrapper. What I've done is I've typed in the issue with it at the moment, and you'll be able to see once you go to custom scene. So, should we choose to continue on this line and break here, what you will encounter is that once we get up to a certain point, the word wrapper pushes text onto new line for apparently no reason. Alright? Now, what that means is, if you go and take a look through this, should we choose to continue on this line and break here, what you will encounter is that once we get up, and all of a sudden, why is 2 not here but down here? And A for that matter. I think 2A should be able to fit here just fine, or at least 2. But it's not there. And the reason why it's not there is because we're not accounting for line breaks on its own in the script. So, in the script itself, I have put in, should we choose to continue on this line and break here, putting an N there, so breaking the line. The word wrapper doesn't actually look for the N here, so when it encounters this, it just adds it on as part of the size. And then it continues on, and then eventually it gets up to this point here, get up to, and this should be on the same line. This should, at least. I'm not sure if that should still fit. This should get up to the same line, but it's not. And the reason why is because it's still counting here, this word, as if it's a part of the same line, even though it's not. So, to fix that, what we can do is go back up to our word wrapper here. And what we can do is, simply put, we can go if text I is equal to N, and then do the following. First thing you're going to do is make current text position equal to 0. And then you're going to go next. Now, I don't think I've ever mentioned what next does before, but it does turn blue, which means it's a keyword. Now, to put simply, all it does is just finishes this. It doesn't continue. So think of it as if you like you're using return in a method. Like, if this is true, then don't bother with the rest. We're done with it. And that's the same thing for loops, for loops, while loops, dot times loops, and those other loops as well. What next does is, if it hits next, it goes into the next section of the loop. So for instance, if I'm doing for I in 0 dot dot pretend it's 6 for a moment, goes 1 2 0 1 2 3, and then suddenly we've hit N, so it goes next, and now this one's going to equal 4, and it's not going to do any of this. It doesn't care about this because we've said do next. So I don't care about this, I'm just going to go and do the next loop. And the next loop's going to be number 4, and this one won't equal N, so it's going to do this. Alright? That's all next does. So, if I was to play it again, you might see the other issue. Yep, and you can see it. So, should we choose to continue on this line and break here? What you will encounter is that once we get up to A, which does fit in that line, at a certain point the word wrapper pushes text onto a NE. That should be new line for apparently no reason. Alright. And it's very easy to fix that. The reason why it's doing that is because we're doing greater than or equal to self.width, and the window itself, pretending it's here and it ends over here, if we're going that's greater than or equal to self.width, we're actually checking it has padding on it. So over here, self.width would be here, but we really want it to finish about over here. So what we can do is we can go self.width minus 32, and that means you have to be 32 pixels away from width to be in the safe area. So again, just go minus 32. Check it now. Take a look. See, it's on the correct line. It's great. It's all fine and freaking dandy. Alright, that should fix the word wrapper issue currently. Alright, and yeah, that's all for that part. Now, we can continue along and finish making the actual script. So, to do that, what we'll do is we'll grab this. Come here, gimme. I want you. Grab this, and we will make another window. And this window is going to be window synopsis objective. So objective window. Inherit window base, same as the last one. So draw objective. Going to rename that method objective, and just grab that and paste it there. And we're set for that part. Now, what I want to do is put this in a module method, since we can use that for both. We don't really need to have it separate, but I'll do that in a moment. For now, we're going to fix this up, and since the other window starts off at 0, this one's not going to start at 0. This one's going to start at graphics.width times 0.7, so a third of the, 1/3 to the bottom half of the screen. And no, that's X, that's Y. Put it there. Yeah, it's going to be graphics.width, and you're just going to be graphics.width 3. And hopefully that makes sense. So it's going to start here, position X, 0, position X, so it's going to be to the left of the screen. It's going to start at graphics.height times 0.7, so the other window is going to be up here to about here, and that window is going to start just after that other one finishes. Alright, graphics.width, so it's going to go from here all the way over to here, and graphics.height times 0.3, because since we're starting at 0.7, so 70% of the screen, we only want it to fill 30% of the bottom. Because if we would have it as graphics.height, it would fill here, and then it would go a crap load down below, which you wouldn't be able to see. So just graphics.height times 0.3. That's all. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is, we're going to make a module method, and we're going to make a module for editable regions as well, so I'm also put module method in. So, in my case, I like to do module diamond and platinum 3, so diamond and platinum 3, that's my name. And then after that module you do another one, and this one I'm just going to name Synopsis Scene. And for that, and for that. Alright, so if I didn't show what double module thing is before, it's really straightforward, but I'll get into how to use it in a sec. For now, we are going to define a method. So def self dot word wrapping for text, word wrapping, it's going to take in text, and then it's going to return text. And what we're going to do with it is the following. We're just going to grab this stuff, grab it, gimme, thank you, and we're going to put it in the module method. So this is going to take in text, so we don't need that. And then it's going to do pretty much everything it did before, so that's just great. So now we can use it as a proper method. But anyways, and what I mean by that is we can use it anywhere. So I can go into any other script and I can just call in self.word wrapping text and it'll do it for you. Alright, so this is a module method, or it is a method, so we need to call it a method, don't we? Word wrapping. Word wrapping. And it's a new method. So new method. There we go. Now to access it, what you need to do is copy the first module into here. First module. Then the second module. So Synopsis Scene for me. Go back down here, paste it there. Go back up to your actual method name. Grab it. There you are. And there you go. Now you just pass in text. And the text that we're using for this is game underscore system dot if I just go down and grab it because we're quicker. Description text. Alright. There. Now that should work. Yes. Alright, and what we'll do is, since we can do two things here, we can either go text is equal to that, which reminds me I have to go back up here and fix it. So yep, return text. I'm hoping I did that properly. So that's definition. So no, that's not correct. There. That's yep, that's correct. So return text there, and I'll return back what it's screwed around with. Yeah. Okay. That should work. And that will return a string, the word wrapping string, back to the local variable text, and then we can pass it in draw text underscore ex and do that. Otherwise, we don't actually have to do text is equal to that. We can just go paste it in there, and then we're passing in game underscore system.synopsis description text as the actual argument for it. So if we were to go into custom scene now, I hope it does work. It should work. No, another final message text.size for that. And why? Oh yes. That could be an issue. Alright, what we can do is this might work. Game underscore message dot text dot size. That should hopefully work. No, doesn't work. Alright, I'll have a little play around with it, see what it is. Alright, doesn't seem like there's any global access towards it, so we can do a little workaround here. The workaround is going to be, you're going to pass in an instance of a window class and text. And the instance of a window class, we're just going to call it a window. The second argument's text. So, what we'll do is, in our cute little thing here, what's going to happen is, for this part, since we're passing in an argument, we're passing in a method, it's going to get quite long, I reckon, so we're going to make it a local. So text is equal to that, and the first argument is a window, and the second argument is the text. We're going to be word wrapping. So what we're going to do is the text that we're going to be, the window that we're going to be using is self. The reason why we use self is because when you say self, you're saying pass me into something that requires it. So for example, when we have up here, we have scene synopsis, and that goes at windows underscore synopsis underscore description equals window underscore synopsis description dot new, and that is actually making a new one of these and putting it into this. Alright, that's what that does. So that's how you pass in that as a parameter, as an instance of that class. So if I wanted to pass in this, for example, what I'm using currently, into a variable. So say I wanted to get a variable and I want to call it myself, and I can just make it equal to self. And so now I can go myself dot update, and that means that whenever I call in update, whenever I go myself dot update, it would actually go down here and do this. Alright, I hope that makes proper sense at least. So to put it simply, Windows synopsis description equals that dot new. You're making a new one and passing it into here. Otherwise, I can just go Windows synopsis description dot new and pretend for a moment I go down here and I can go self and use that. All right. Now, what's going to happen is if I go up here with the window, I grab this and I replace the text stuff here and also the self, since we're using the window. Window width and all that stuff, since we've actually passed in the window, this should work fine. Alright, clicking OK, apply, OK, custom scene, and there we go. So it does work, as long as we're passing in self. Alright, so to make sure that does actually work correctly, we are going to change the size of it, just temporarily. The result width is going to be 0.5. So it should word wrap around it should still word wrap around it properly. And yeah, it kind of does. It's a little bit off, but that's pretty good. I think that's word wrapping just fine. Alright. Beautiful. So that works. Okay. Now, we've got that part done. Now we can go over here and do this one. This is the exact same. The only difference is that instead of using objective description, we're going to use adjective. So grab it. Down here into there. We're passing in self again because this is another instance of a class, a window that we're going to use, and we're going to use objective text in this one. So past it. There you are. Paste it there, and great. Should be swell. Now all we have to do is make it equal to something. And so we'll go here and we'll go objective text in here. Alright, now we have to go back up and where is my objective? There you are. Gimme. New. So at window underscore notesees underscore objective equals windows and those objective dot new. Grab it again, because don't forget to dispose them. Dot dispose. Alright, so we play it now, and we should see two windows. Yep, you see two windows, and they're perfectly aligned, aren't they? So, we have the description that goes here, and we have the objective text that goes in here. Now, what we can do is modify it a little bit. And what I say by modify is, we can make it so that the windows aren't actually visible, but the contents are. Now, what that means is we can display text without there being a window present. And you see this when you go show text and make window transparent. So show text and yada yada yada, and the background is transparent. And what do you get? You get a transparent background. And you can do that for scripting as well. So how we do that is quite simple, really. You just go journal thing dot opacity equals 0. Same for this one. Dot opacity equals 0. Okay, play it. New game, custom scene. And see, there you go. So the window is not visible anymore, but the text still is. Alright, so that's how you can get rid of the window if you don't want to use it. Otherwise, you can make it equal 100, which will make it sort of faded out a little bit, and might blend in with the background. You never know. It's good to give it a try, see what it looks like. Wrong number argument 0 for 1. What for? Oh yes, okay. Equals. Do it again. New game. Custom scene. Yeah. See, that looks fairly nice. I quite like that layout. But yeah. Alright, so we don't need to worry about that. I was just using an example. So you can do that and modify if you want to. Otherwise, it's better off to put that in an editable region. So let's make one now. Alright, editable region. So make sure it's in clear, bold letters so people who use your script know it's editable region. Editable region. If anyone says I did not know this section was an editable region, feel free to hit them in the face. I'm not kidding you. I mean, you cannot miss that big sign there that says editable region. Come on. Alright. Now, what we will do is we will think up some things we can put in the editable region. Like first one being, do you want the opacity? So what we'll do is we can go description window. Let's go opacity, and we'll make that equal to 255. By default, it doesn't have to be 255. That's up to the user. And then objective window underscore opacity. That's also going to equal to 255. Space it out so it looks nice. Go across, comment it out. So opacity for objective window. 255 means fully visible. 0 means transparent. Fully transparent. Alright, and put that there. Go across. Alright. And we're doing the same for this. So objective window opacity. Same as above. Which it is. Okay. Now we're not using them yet, so we have to insert them into the script at some point. What else are we going to use? Defaults. Background. Image. That's going to equal nothing. For me it's going to equal nothing, but for the user they can put something in there if they want to. So if background image has an error, use this default. Use this default image. Okay, and that should be the end of the editable region as far as I'm concerned. So end editable region. You cannot miss that. It says it right there, end editable region and start editable region. So you should know what's where and what you can change. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we are going to go into the script and actually use these values properly. So Windows and this is description dot opacity is going to equal to that. Now keep in mind that is a module scope, so we need to make sure we're using the proper thing for it. Which luckily for me it's right down here, so I can just grab it, go back up and paste it there. Grab it again. Windows and Windows objective, put it there, go back up, grab that one, back down, and place it there. Okay, so what we'll do is it's going to be 255 by default, so we'll modify them both. This one's going to be 100 and this one's going to be 200, just to see the difference between the two. There you go. So this is 100 opacity and this is 200 opacity, and you can see a big difference between the two. Alright, so 255 each, as it should be. Now default background image, yes, go down. So what I'm loading in by default is this one, and it shouldn't be that. It should actually be this. So this is background image, which is currently nothing. So SA picture game underscore system dot Synopsis background image, which means it has to be in the pictures folder. But before we do that, what we will do is use an if statement and go if game underscore system dot Synopsis background image is not equal to that, because if it is equal to that, then it won't be able to find the background image, which means it will make an error and crash the game. So we have to make sure that it's not equal to that. and actually that should be or. So if this is not equal to nothing, or that's not equal to nothing, which means we can use that as well, or which means we can use that, then you're free to make a sprite. Now, for the same sake of making a sprite, we should need to go down here, and for our background image, we need to go if background image. If background image. And the reason why we need to do if background image is because if we go up here, if we do not pass this if statement, we do not make a background image at all, so it's going to equal nil. And if it equals nil, then as you can guess, that means you can't dispose it, and it's going to go, what the hell are you doing? I don't know what a bitmap is, and I don't know what dispose is. What do you want from me? That's what it's going to say. So that's why you should make sure you're doing things properly. And then end. Okay, so for the cache picture, what we're going to do is we're going to grab this for the sec. I want it. We're going to go make a local variable. So local variable goes here, and background image name is equal to game underscore synopsis background image. I want to do this elegantly, but I'm not really sure if I should. Alright, I'm going to do it the way I want to do it. It's not equal to that question mark. Okay, this is probably going to be either very easy to explain or very hard. Never mind, I'll do it the conventional way. What we're going to do is we're going to go if background image, the Synopsis image is not equal to problem, and it's not equal to that, then before that, background image is equal to nil. Background image is equal to that. Equal to, yeah, that. Else, background image is equal to that, our default image thingy. Okay, now we pass it in as cache picture. Now, to go through that a little bit, what's going to happen is when we start the custom scene, it's going to look at game_system.synopsis background image, because this will be changeable. We haven't done it yet, but it will be changeable. Background image, and if it's not equal to anything it can actually use, then it's going to look at the default background image, and if that one is something you can use, so if it's not equal to nothing, it then goes in into here. And it looks for which one it can use first. So that means if it does pass this check, that means one of these can be used. So if game system synopsis background is usable, then immediately that means use that image. Otherwise, if the default image is usable but this one isn't, then use the default image. And then you just pass in the background image as the cache picture thingy. And that's really all there is to that part of it. That's all it is. That was a mouthful. Yeah, that's all for that part. Now, I think we've done the initial portion of our Synopsis journal. Or it should be anyway. So, if we were to play it, there should be hopefully no errors. Yep, there's no errors and there's no background either. So if we press X, and it gets out of the thing just fine, it doesn't error. So just to show you what I was talking about before, about how if you don't actually have it existing, it's not going to work. So I'll go to new game again, and I try to dispose something that doesn't exist. There you go, undefined method bitmap for nil class, so it doesn't exist. Which is why we have the if statement there, making sure it does exist. So if background image, and if you are not familiar with what this is doing around, it's going not equal to nil. So if background image not equal to nil, but I don't have to have not equal to nil on there because it already knows what I want. Okay, now we've done the main parts of it. So what else do we need to do? We've done the editable region, we've done the word wrapping part of it. We need... yes, we need to insert what we're going to use. So we need to go game interpreter. We're going to make 3 new methods. 3 new methods. And they're going to go down the bottom, because I like to have game interpreter stuff at the bottom of the script. Game interpreter, and inside of it we're going to make it def change synopsis description text, and it's going to take an argument of text. Now what we're going to do when that is return unless text dot is a string, because if you pass in 1 for text, it's not what we're looking for. Alrighty, now for our Synopsis description text, we are going to simply just go Synopsis description text game underscore system dot Synopsis description text is equal to text. That's all there is to that part of it, and we just do the same thing again for the other 2. So change Synopsis objective text, objective, go back up, grab that one, thank you, put it there. Cool. And this one's going to be background image. Change Synopsis background image. Yeah. Grab that, thank you, and put it there. And we've done that part of the script that we needed to worry about. So now if I just go into random event, so I'll go over here, event, paste it there, change description text, put in text. It needs to be in the quotation marks, so I'm going to type in this is a script for RGSS3, welcome. I don't think you'll see any word wrapping on that because that looks pretty small. Then again, we're going to change the objective text. So the objective text is just going to be press X. Yep. Press X to exit scene. Awesome. Now for our final one, background image, I need to take a look at my image folder. Make sure I actually have something in there I can use. And I do, I have 2 of them, so give me that one. No, I just need the name. Crap. Just for the moment. Script. Yep, script. Paste it in there. We're changing the background image to the image called Emily4. So, you put an actor, female, her, all great, all fine. New game. First thing we do is we check it to make sure it hasn't changed, which it hasn't, so it's still adjust your text in here and that stuff. Talk to her. Let's look at it now. There you go. This is a script for RGSS3. Welcome. Press X to exit scene. And that's exactly what we do. Alright, so we have that part of it working just fine. Now, is there anything else we need for the script? Maybe. Oh, yes. Yes, there is actually. If we were to continue going across, we would actually when you type in text into a script box, it actually line breaks for you by default. What I mean is this: if I was to go, if I was to continue typing this stuff, yes, welcome, because I don't want to spend all day typing. Alright, and if we go into the script now, it looks freaking awkward. Yeah. This is script for RGSS3, welcome, this is, yeah, welcome, yeah. it doesn't actually get over to where it should be over. So this is a script for RGSS3, which should be here, and the reason why it does that is because every time it hits over here, the script box thing here, it actually puts in, it actually does that for you when it hits this section of the script box. So because it does that for you, it ends up breaking line barriers on the script. So we can actually fix that, and to fix that we have to go back to gsub. So if you remember what gsub is, gsub and just n, replace it with nothing. Now that in itself should not work. That we don't need that for the picture name. And what I mean is the following, as you're about to see. It should do it once. Or not. No, well, that's fine. It's not breaking where it should be breaking. No, that's a problem. Well, it mostly works, except for the fact that we're doing control. We're getting rid of N and not doing it as needed. But to be honest with you, we don't need to worry about that so much, because that's really more of a maintenance thing, and I don't think a lot of people are going to complain about the fact that it's word wrapping for you, since they can just change the layout of whatever it is they're saying to match it properly. Anyway, talk to a lady again, and we have our Synopsis journal. Awesome. Now go over to her, and I'm gonna try one more thing before I finish this thing, and that's going to be and see if that works. Apparently not. Or did I do it wrong? Nope, I did it right. Alright, apparently it doesn't like color at the moment. Anyway, so we've finished the basic Synopsis journal thingy. It can be fixed up to do a lot more stuff than that, but I don't want to go through an entire hour again for this. So this is the most basic you can get it. So we've written a word wrapper, we've written the Synopsis journal, which can be used throughout the game. All you have to do is go change Synopsis suggestive text and to anything you want, and you can change the background image as well, depending on where you are, what you're doing, and all that. You can even change the background image to where you're going to, and yeah, all that. So we've managed to make all that. Seemed pretty straightforward, and I think there are a lot of things that can be improved on, but that's, in my opinion, something that can be done without me having to do it on the screen, because I'm pretty sure most of you can get it done without me having to show you. So, yep, the Synopsis journal is done. If you want to take a look at it, I can upload it, but I'm not going to call this one of my scripts, because I wouldn't release this as a script, even though it does sort of work to an extent. But anyway, until next time, stay safe.